Hey, Mr. Taylor, coming back at you. I want to talk about some composite or irregular figures. Let's take a look at this word problem. The following diagram is a model of Miranda's bedroom. How many square feet of carpeting will be needed for Miranda's bedroom? How much border will be needed to go around the perimeter of Miranda's bedroom? So let's go ahead and take a look at this particular figure and see what we have to do. I would say, if you will agree with me, I would say the first thing we have to do is make sure that we can take care of these two different figures. So if that's the case, I would say let's do this. Okay, so what I've done actually is I have created a triangle, and from the triangle I am left with a square. So what I have is a square and a triangle, and I need to determine what are the areas of each one. So we know that the formula for our square is A is equal to S squared. And the formula for our triangle is actually base times height, and all of that divided by 2. Or we can also say 1/2 base times height, either one. Okay, so let's, as we go right along, so that here it tells us that we have a 10, 10. Notice, let's not even think about this part here for the time being, because we have already cut our square off without making our triangle to 10, 10. So our area here is going to be 10 square, which equals to 100 feet square. So that's our area there. So now what we need to do is try to figure out what we're going to do with this right triangle that we composed. And what I'm looking at, if this is 10 and the whole thing here is 16, I can subtract 16 minus 10 and I'll get, this is 6 feet. Hope you agree with me. So if that's 6, and if I'm going to take, if this side coming up is 10, so if I subtract 10 and I have a little section coming down right here, that's 2 feet, I'm going to get 8. So here I will get 8 feet. Alright, so if this is 6 and this is 8, we can take a square plus b square is equal to c square, and in essence we will have 6 square plus 8 square is equal to c square, and that's going to be 36 plus 64 is equal to c square. 36 plus 64 is 100, is equal to c square. In order to isolate c, we must undo c being squared, so we will take the square root of c squared, and if we're going to do that, we have to take the square root of 100 over on this side as well. So here 10 times 10 is equal to c, so that gives us 10 for that portion there. Now those of us that know these Pythagorean triples, well, once we saw 6 and 8, we know that we have a triple that's 6, 8, and 10, and we could have easily recognized that the hypotenuse is 10. So now we just got our figures and we can go on and see what we need to do. First thing, let's look at the perimeter. So perimeter of the figure is equal to sides. So I see 10 plus 10 plus 2 plus 10 plus, now notice what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to add 6 and 16. Remember, this original side was 16 feet long, and I'm going to add plus 16. So 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 12 plus 16. I added 10 and 10. I added 2 and 10 and then 16. So what I have next is 32 plus 16, and that gives me a perimeter of 48. Okay, so that 48 is 48 feet. So we're really doing good. Now the only thing we need to do is look at our area. So we got the 100 feet square for the square. What about the triangle? So I am going to erase in here just for a second, and then we'll take a look at our triangle. So we say triangle is base times height divided by 2. The base is 6 times the height is 8, and we're going to divide that by 2. So all we got to do is look at 6 times 8, which is 48, divided by 2, and that's going to give us 24. So we get 24 feet square. So we have 124. All we need to now to see what is the combined area for the figure, all we need to do is add. So let's just say our combined area is 100 plus 24, which is going to give us 124 feet square. Okay, so that's taken care of problem number 1. It really wasn't that difficult, I hope, but you know, you got the options of stopping it and saving it and replaying and seeing exactly what was done. All right, let's take a look at the second problem. So here we have a particular diagram, and it says the following diagram is a model of a small closet Mark uses at home. So what is the area of this closet? So what we need to do now is take a look at our formulas and first try to determine what is it that we have. Okay, now again, I am going back to where I was from the beginning. What I'm looking here is, I know I'm going to have a triangle in here, so I'm going to take, I'm going to take this and make a particular figure, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a figure. So what do we have here, Mr. Taylor? What are you trying to tell us here? So if I take this figure here and I am looking at a 7 by 4, so here, if I wanted to find the area, go back to here. So if I wanted to find this particular area, I'm looking at 7 times 4. Remember, we say that area is length times width. So let's go ahead and put it here. So, and then I want to, because I just really want to get us in the habit, future algebra students. And here we go, length is 4, width is 7, then of course we get 28. Well, what about this particular part here? Now, if we're taking 7 feet away from 12, because remember, this is 7 that's coming across, so we're going to subtract 12 minus 7, and that's going to give us 5. Okay. So here, our new part here from this part here is 5 feet. So what I need to do now is to try to find out, well, what is this part? So remember, we cut it 4. So here, let's take 16 minus 4, and that's going to give us 12. So our new part inside of here is 12 feet. So all we got to do now is multiply 5 times 12 to find this area. So again, let's find this particular area. So we would have area is equal to length times width. So that's area is equal to 5 times 12, and area is equal to 60. So again, I have 28 feet square here. Here I have 60 feet square. Okay. Only thing we need to do now is work on our particular triangle. Now, when I drew that line, I created a right triangle. So the only thing we need to do now is to try to figure out where or what did I do. So here, if I went from here to here, and we say that this is 4 feet, so I'm going to subtract 16 minus 4, and that's going to give me 12. So this part of my line here is 12. So if that's the case, now what I want to do is look at, well, what is my base? What is my base? Well, if this is 5, remember we say that this was 5, so we can subtract 12 minus 5, and what we get? 7. So this part here, let's call it 7. So we're looking at, should we call it 7? No, I made a mistake here. This is 7. So this will be, so I hope you can back this up and not include the mistake I just made talking entirely too fast. So this part is 7, not 5. So if this part is 7, that means that we will subtract 12 minus 7, and we will get actually 5. So if that's the case, then this is not 7, this is 5. Okay, so now we'll have 5, 12, and I'm going to tell you now, I can use a triple. I can use a Pythagorean triple and know that this side is 13. I know that this side is 13 because of the actual triple. So let me go back and make sure that we have all our little ducks in a row here. I said that if I take one of my splits here, then what I'm looking at is 7 times 4, which is going to give me 28. So then I said if I'm having a split here, which is 4 minus 16 minus 4 will give me 12. And the 12, it means that this is this part from this line to this line. Now, let's make sure that I made the right decision here. So what am I saying? That this is 12 feet, so this is 7. So if I subtract 7 minus 12, I'm going to get 5. Okay? Make sure we did the right thing here, because I'm looking, if this part coming down is 7, so no, I should have gotten 7 here. Do you agree? I do, because if this is 7, then this part that I drew down is 7 as well. So that's going to change our whole little inside here. We might as well just go ahead and take care of that now. I was thinking about not doing that until I got all the way done, but that's okay. That's real life when you live. And then that makes sense because 7 and 5 is 12. So now when we look at our length times width, instead of it being, and I know you're going to say, yeah, I wrote all this stuff, but that's the good part about stopping the video. So here we see that length times width will give us 5 times, actually we're going again trying to use 5, so we have a length of 12 and a width of 7. So that's going to give us 84. Now that looks better to me. So now all we have to do is find the particular area here. So we said that, remember that a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So we have a base of 5. So that's going to be 5 times 12 divided by 2. And that's going to be 60 divided by 2. And that's going to give us 30. So now we have to do now is add. And if we do so, we're going to add perimeter, because it says what's the perimeter of the closet. 16 plus 7 plus 4 plus 13 plus 12. And what we're looking for is seeing how close this comes. So let's do it. 16 plus 7 is 23 plus 4 is 27 plus 13 is 40 plus 12 is 52 feet. So we get a perimeter of 52 feet. Now all we got to do is, let's go ahead and put the 30 feet square here, is add up 84, 28, and 30, and that's going to give us our area. So let's see what we got. We have 30, and 28 is 58, and then let's add that to 84. That's going to give me 12, 13, and 14. So that gives me a combined area. So my combined area is going to equal to 142 feet square. What do you think? Alright, I have 2 more problems to work with. We'll go ahead and stop the recording now. Let you guys really soak into that. No, as a matter of fact, let's do this. Let you take a look at problem 3. So we're going to and see, can you bring this in for some extra credit. So we have problem 3. So stop the video, write down the information, and again solve what is asking for you to do. And then again, problem 4. Problem 4, if you have a calculator available, you may use a calculator. There are 2 problems here for 4 and 5. Again, you're using this one figure right here. Don't be dismayed. Work as hard as you can. Stop these videos here and bring these problems in for me. Okay?